Dan, here we are in the man cave, partaking in a light refreshment. Thinking I'm being all cultured, drinking like an ale. I'll end up drinking lager again. That's the type of person I am. So, me and Mrs. Stan obviously went out today. Sorry about the bad audio and the bad camera work by her, but Solway Aviation Museum, well worth a visit if you're up this part of the world. It's about an hour and a half from me. So there's the history of the Aviation Society. It was formed 1961 by 5 members of the Royal Observer Corps, etc, etc, etc. In 1983 the group purchased the Vulcan bomber. So it started off small, like a lot of these organisations. Carlisle Lake District Airport started life as RAF Crosby-on-Eden. The airfield was built at the outbreak of the Second World War, part of the rapid expansion plan for the RAF, blah blah blah, etc, etc, etc. And like a lot of these things, they gradually ran down after the war. In 1960, the airfield was purchased by a local authority after refurbishment was used again. And it's recently, it's hoped to start a scheduled flight again in 2022. It's obviously 2023 now. But let's have a quick flick through some of the displays, because I didn't film it all in there. There's obviously Mark 1 Bren there. Blue Streak, rocket testing place. It was said that on the Isle of Wight, we're the only country in the world that's developed a satellite launching facility and then abandoned it. That's typical, isn't it? Ejection seat display. A block. There was some nice equipment in there. A lot of stuff to read, and like I said, I think it was a bit much for me because I didn't take my reading glasses. This is the Avro Vulcan there, and now if you're going to see that, it is slightly away from the main museum area, and you have to book on a tour to go around. It doesn't cost you any more, but you book to go. This is £1 the book. It's really cheap to get in. I can't remember how much. And they've got a Phantom, an English electric line, and I'm not going to go through the specifics of them. Meteor, Jet Provost. I'll have to get a jet for the back garden. Hawker Hunter, English electric Canberra. It didn't come up on the audio of the video. Me and my wife, where we lived, there was a historical aviation place in Australia, and they're still flying one of these, and it flew right over the top of our heads on one of the displays. So very nice. Fairy Gannet. That is a really odd looking aircraft. I've seen it at other air museums, and it's quite big when you get up alongside it. Quite a big aircraft. Percival Sea Prince. That was the one I was sat in, and that was like a radar aircraft. A flying classroom, says on there. Anyway, get yourself to the museum. Maybe you'll see it. Sikorsky Whirlwind. Didn't see that, I don't think. I didn't see that. Hawker Siddeley Trident. That was all locked up. You couldn't go and have a look at that. Yeah, saw that. That was the one that they got back to flying. Flying status, I think. Anyway, de Havilland Chipmunk, Handley Page Jetstream, Henry Midget, the Fly and Flea, seen them before. Didn't see that in the Bede mini jet. It was in James Bond, it says here. I didn't see that. Trainer, Grasshopper Glider. 33.7 inch anti-aircraft gun. That was on. It's like a Gate Guardian. Other little bits and pieces. It's a really small provincial museum. There's the bus I was in front of, and it says there on retirement. It was purchased by a scout group in Sheffield who named it the bus Spiny Norman. Used to travel around Europe. The museum purchased the bus from a scout in 2020. This featured an episode of the TV programme Bangers and Cash. The bus retains the Spiny Norman logo in honour of its many years as a scout bus. Now, my mate at work was in that scout group with that bus, I'm almost certain. Aircraft tug. Yeah, asking for volunteers. Very interesting. There it is. Go and give it a look. While I was in there, I picked up a couple of books. Wings on My Sleeve, Captain Eric Winkle Brown. Seen the documentary on him. Very interesting fellow. I picked up that one just because I like the look of it. Luftwaffe. I just shot £3 or £4 in the pot, you know. These little museums, when you read about some of the exhibits they've got it from a museum that closed, you know. So these places need supporting. So you don't mind paying that little bit more for a really old book. That'll be an interesting read. We'll have a look at that. And on the way back, we stopped off at a little pub, and we went in this little pub, and my wife said, I'll drive home if you have a pint. So I got a pint, but before I got my pint, the person before me had ordered 2 pickled eggs. So I got the pickled eggs in the little cardboard thing. The woman, the barmaid, was having trouble, so she actually sort of fished it in with her fingers on both hands, and she didn't wipe her hands. She got my pint glass. Anyway, in the local village shop there was a second-hand book thing. Now that's my kind of town. Pickled eggs behind the bar, and you can buy a book like this in the local Spar. It's obviously about the German Special Forces. Really interesting for me. I like getting books like this. They don't cost you a great deal, so that'll be worthwhile reading. And I just thought as well, I'll have a look at this again. I mean, I've done a video on this before. I'll try and get it in the frame properly. I'll put my glass there so you can have a look. My wife's shouting at the cats. Now, can you see it? So that's old Stan in the Army Cadets. There's me. And it's 40 years since this photograph was taken, nearly 40 years in the summer, when we were in Thetford in Norfolk on army camp. And without going through anything too personal, and I look at these people here. This guy, I won't say the names, he actually went in the army full time. He was in like one of the NCOs, 17-year-old probably at the time. I was 14 then, but I was at the same height as I am now. I sort of shot up. Never seen him again. The old lieutenant, he passed away loads of years ago. That sergeant, never seen him. Adult stroke instructor. He was one of the 17-year-old NCOs. Sergeant, I won't say his name. I actually seen him at a car boot sale the other week. They used to call me Blue because I always wore blue t-shirts. And I thought, shall I say, how you doing? But then you think, so much water's gone under the bridge. I didn't want to be rude, but you just think he didn't recognise me. So, yeah, I remember him very well. Seen him a few times. This lad here joined the Marines. And I did see him a lot in his early years when he was in the Marines, but never seen him since. Obviously, there's a lad who had a very interesting life. It's me. Anyway. That lad still lives locally, a university lecturer, I think. This guy here, you wouldn't believe that he became one of my best friends in my life. Served me apprenticeship with him, played hours and hours of rugby with him, and he became about 6'2". He sort of was a slow developer, but he lives in Australia now, and I've seen him. He lived on the other side of the country from me, but yeah, me and him became real, like a brother, really, I suppose, in some respects. We really got on well. This lad here, look at his. With his hand over the rifle, he became an actor, of all things. I think he still lives locally. This guy still lives locally, I think. Never seen him for 20 years. The guy there behind him, never seen him again. This fella here, he joined the army, and he did eventually play for my local club, but I've never seen him for a long time, because I have played rugby with him. This guy here, I will tell you his nickname. His nickname was Spanish. I don't know why, but you see how he's got sackcloth wrapped around his number 4 Lee Enfield rifle. I think he thought he was some sort of sniper. I think he joined the army. He definitely joined the army. He's a really small kid. He went in the paras. This guy, never seen him again. This lad was from my local school, and I think he ran into the tank fields in the middle of the night when we were on camp. Caused a big hoo-ha. But that's, yeah, still I'm at Stan in the Army Cadets, Parachute Regiment Army Cadets. We wore a black beret with the parachute badge on. And that was August 1984 in Norfolk. Hot as anything. You probably don't appreciate coming from the northeast of England how hot it can be in the south. And we all got bitten by, I suppose there were mosquitoes on your face, the back of your hands, etc, etc, etc. But yeah, a time in my life, and I keep this photograph on the wall in there. And I wonder if he'll have the photographs, because these photographs I've got of myself in the Army Cadets were off his camera. So yeah, I wonder if anyone else has got this on the wall somewhere. Probably not. So that's Stan. That's a be quick video today, just to top off what I've been up to. So I'll go back to having a light refreshment. This is Stan, and I will see you.